From the Ministry of the Presidency in Georgetown, this is This Week with the President.
Welcome to another edition of This Week with the President, a weekly news magazine that provides you with an in-depth look at the policies, programs, and work of Guyana's President. I'm your host, Finia Tumeshwar. In the news this week, Guyana celebrates its 46th Republic anniversary with patriotic display. President calls for closer relations with communities and the police. 2 new ambassadors accredited, and CARICOM heads reaffirm support for Guyana in Venezuela controversy. Though the traditional Mashramani parade was not held this year, Guyana's 46th Republic anniversary celebrations was a spectacular display of tradition and ceremony that was well received by the nation. Over 30,000 Guyanese turned up at the newly developed Durban Park to witness the historic event, greeting various segments of the program with rapturous applause, hushed silence, and rallying cries of support for our nation's future.
It was real touching. I felt very moved. Not being here for such a long time and witnessing the flag raising ceremony. It was real heartening to see so many Guyanese attending and supporting the Prime Minister and the President. I think it was real good. I will never forget this feeling.
And this is a fantastic afternoon. When I saw the flag going up earlier on, it brought back many nostalgic feelings because I was a teenager when the flag or the golden arrowhead was first hoisted at the National Park 50 years ago. So it brought those feelings back, and it was really fabulous to see all the people who have come out to support this national effort.
I'm impressed. What I'm seeing, things are moving in the right direction. I'm very impressed with the park here today. That's one. 2, anybody coming back now, it's very nostalgic to see the transformation that's taking place. You know, everyone seems to be involved in what's happening, you know, and I hope the good work continues.
Wow, this is one of the largest crowds I have seen for quite a long time. And it's very fascinating. The flag, I tell you, the first time I see a flag as big as this.
The hoisting of the 65 by 35 feet golden arrowhead on a 180 feet flagpole was indeed the showstopper of the program. Several persons stared in wonder or became intense and emotional at times as the flag billowed in the breeze as it ascended the flagpole. And as usual, citizens were most impressed by the parade of the disciplined forces clad in their formal uniform. President David Granger, in his Republic Day message, reiterated his call for national unity as Guyana observed this milestone.
We must, at the national level, eradicate the suspicion that promotes tensions and strife. We must dispel prejudice and hatred among individuals and groups. We must move forward as a united nation, constantly reaffirming our national motto, one people, one nation, one destiny.
Also on February 23rd, 12 groups from across the country were honored with national awards for outstanding service in the areas of culture, education, social work, and the arts. President Granger, who is the Chancellor of the Orders of Guyana, said that a better day could not have been chosen to confer the awards, since it is on this date, 46 years ago, that the termination of the imperial system provided the opportunity for the initiation of a national system, and national awards serve as a supreme symbol of that statehood.
It is fitting, therefore, that this day, the anniversary of our republic, should be selected as a day on which the state honors citizens and groups of distinction.
National awards are ordained by the Constitution of the Republic of Guyana, and they should be cherished and never devalued or taken for granted.
The medals of service which you receive will not depreciate with the balance of trade. The parchment which you will be presented with later will not become discolored or disintegrate with age. The claim of this congregation is not to be discredited. National awards constitute an important institution of the state. It is my personal obligation as Chancellor of the Orders of Guyana to to discharge my duty toward deserving citizens and to pay respect to those to whom respect is due.
The President said that while receiving a national award is a prestigious honor, it is merely a token that cannot measure the magnitude of selflessness and dedicated service that citizens have given to the country.
The Medal of Service, the award of which this investiture ceremony celebrates, acknowledges the achievement of groups. Specifically, we wanted to honor the collectives, the cooperatives, and the communities. Individuals will be honored on another occasion. Today is National Group Day. The Medal of Service honors associations, corporations, organizations, and other groups. Their sacrifice, their selflessness, their success and service to their communities, to their country, and to society have been consistent and have been of high quality.
The groups which received awards were the African Cultural and Development Association, the Central Assembly Church of God, the E.R. Burroughs School of Art, the Guyana Islamic Trust, the Guyana Veterans Legion, the Makushi Research Institute, Ming's Products and Services Limited, the National Dance Company of Guyana, the Roadside Baptist Church Skills Training Center, Inc., the Rose Hall Tongue Youth and Sports Club, South Central People's Development Association, and the Theatre Guild of Guyana.
I feel proud that they can still willing to recognize me as the oldest rep. I enjoy working. I worked from the Theatre Guild in the 1950s, all the time, all of like Paloma. She grew up with me, most of them grew up in the Theatre Guild while I was still there. So it is really an honor, and I feel proud that I can at least do something still.
Oh, it's a great feeling. The Guyana Islamic Trust has made sacrifices over the years, over a decade and a half, to the services of the people of this country. And we have done work in the field of education, social development, social relief, and more so in education, because we have schools, a few schools, one in Georgetown in East Street, that is the Isa Islamic School. On one or two occasions we have topped the country in NGSA. And so, we feel very proud this morning that we are honored with this Medal of Service, and we will cherish it. And it gives us an impetus to go forward and to make sure, that we do more for the people of this country. It's really rewarding and satisfying that we are able to help so many tens of thousands of people all over the country.
At the recently concluded CARICOM Heads of Government meeting, CARICOM heads issued a communique reaffirming their unequivocal support for the maintenance and preservation of Guyana's sovereignty and territorial integrity. Like Guyana, sister CARICOM countries also firmly believe that the signing of the Geneva Agreement of 1966 between the parties, which was intended to provide a solution to the controversy arising from Venezuela's contention that the 1899 arbitral award is null and void, definitively settled the land boundary between Guyana and Venezuela. The heads also expressed their full support for the role of the United Nations Secretary General and his efforts in keeping with the provisions of the Geneva Agreement to bring the controversy to a definitive conclusion. Partnerships between the Guyana Police Force and community policing groups are important in the fight against crime and curbing antisocial behaviors. President David Granger, Commander of the Armed Forces, made this appeal in his feature address at the opening ceremony of the annual Police Officers Conference held at the Officers' Mess, Eve Leary.
The Constitution gives the police force the responsibility to safeguard the safety of the citizens. And the Disciplined Forces Commission, in recommendation number 48, states that community policing must be brought within the full ambit of the law, and it must not be allowed to remain lawless or an outlaw.
The Commissioner of Police must bear responsibility under the law for community policing, which must support professional law enforcement. Support, not supplant.
Mutual trust and respect between the police and the public can never be overemphasized. The Commander-in-Chief said that community policing establishes relationships and focus on problem solving.
If community policing is inclusive, it can contribute measurably to human safety. The present incarnation of community policing could be traced back, I think, to 1976, and some may want to celebrate the 40th anniversary this year, when the old vigilante concept metamorphosed into crime prevention committees. But community policing is not a group. It is a process, it is a practice, it is a procedure that promotes problem-solving techniques and improves public safety by forging bonds of trust between the police and the public.
The President has been touting communitarianism as a way of eradicating some of the social issues that plague rural communities, especially. He said that the good life is not attainable if human safety cannot be assured by the state.
Community policing in most countries that I'm familiar with see the police as members of the community where they live and work. They are therefore more beat-duty policemen rather than station-bound functionaries. As a result, more community work gets done because the police are out there where people live. People don't live in the stations. The basic idea is that there should be bonds of mutual trust between the police and the public.
The annual police conference is organized each year with the aim of identifying areas that need to be strengthened and to plan the agenda for the new year. Over the years, there have been many complaints of unprofessional police conduct, and the police commissioner said that he is in full support of the zero-tolerance stance taken by the new administration on this matter.
Your Excellency, your 5-point strategy and Operation Dragnet has certainly positively impacted the crime and crime and traffic control. Criminal Investigation Department operations in the latter half of last year, coupled with our social crime prevention program in particular, have served to reduce fear of crime in Guyana. Additionally, the position your government has taken on unprofessional behavior in the public service and on corruption within the society have enhanced public confidence, thereby making our work more effective.
As part of its annual plan this year, the force has committed to increasing its human resources, establishing a gender-based violence and sexual offenses unit, a serial crime investigation division, an anti-narcotics unit, deploying bicycle patrol units, enhancing the use of video analysis technology, and improving the 911 system. Education, employment, equality, enterprise, and empowerment are, according to the President, the composition of the formula of success. This formula is evidenced by countries like China and Singapore, which, despite their low natural resources to population ratio, have managed to realize economic growth of about 7 to 10% per annum. These countries have followed a model of investing in education and technology, much like Guyana is doing today.
When I go throughout this country, what do I see? I see a big country without highways, without bridges, stellings falling down. Where will the engineers come to develop this country from? Where will the scientists come from? Where will the accountants and the attorneys come from? They come from the schools. But if our children can't get to the schools in the first place, we won't be able to develop this country.
The 3Bs program is just one of the ways through which the government is working to create an enabling environment that will equip citizens across the 10 administrative regions to achieve this success. Children in East Berbice are the most recent beneficiaries of this program. President Granger on Thursday commissioned a 50-seater bus for this community, donated by businessman Mr. Peter Lewis.
The children of Region Number 6 are now going to be able to access education easier. And this government will also ensure that education is of a high quality. Comrades, I am from a neighboring region, and I am proud that our president's vision is becoming a reality. I want to tell you that this is only the start.
The bus is one of 2 that Mr. Lewis has contributed to the program, along with a speedboat for children in riverine communities. To date, 7 buses, 6 boats, and over 300 bicycles have been distributed across the country under the program.
We will be able to create a more equal society. And once we have a more equal society, you will see how life will be better for all of us. We don't want to be unequal. We don't want to have upper and lower. We want everybody to have a break in life, a good, fair break in life, a good deal, a good opportunity. And we will be able to create a more equal society because we have a more equal education system. People have access.
Teachers, parents, and even students themselves were very happy to receive the school bus that will transport them from school to home and back, free of cost. A few of them were eager to share this excitement.
I feel glad that we're getting a bus to go to school because we won't have to worry about catching car late on the road to go to school. My name is Philma Nazela and I am attending the Kelowna Primary School. I feel happy that the president gave the region the bus.
Why? How do you think this is happening?
Because your parents don't have to give you passage money.
My name is Dawn Kite, and a resident of Kildonian in particular and region number 6. This initiative by the government, the president to have the bus presented to this community, it means so much to me because it will help the school children and parents who cannot afford to send their children to school. It will assist in a great way. So we want to say thank you to the president and the government for this initiative.
What does the president do all week? Let's take a look inside his diary. On February 22nd, President David Granger and First Lady Mrs. Sandra Granger attended the Guyana Red Cross Society's annual Tea Party and Fashion Show, which was hosted on the lawns of State House. At the event, the president was formally inducted as the patron of the charity.
There's so much we have to thank the Guyana Red Cross Society for since its establishment in 1967 in Guyana as a separate element, a national element, which is no longer associated to the British Red Cross Society. And over the last 49 years, we all learned to embrace the work that the Red Cross Society has been doing. It is always there with us in the time of flood, in the time of fire, in the time of disease, particularly epidemic disease. It has always been a source of support, a source of relief to thousands and thousands of citizens in Guyana.
The President and First Lady also attended a dinner at the new thriving restaurant hosted by the Chinese Association of Guyana to celebrate Chinese New Year. President David Granger also accredited 2 new ambassadors on February 24th, as Guyana continues to enhance its international image and strengthen diplomatic ties. His Excellency Mitsuhiko Okada was accredited non-resident ambassador of Japan to Guyana, while His Excellency Mordechai Amihai Bivas was installed as the non-resident ambassador of the State of Israel to Guyana.
Guyana is blessed with plentiful land for its people and abundant natural resources. Its natural heritage has not been devastated by over-exploitation. With the awareness of climate change, the irreversible effects of deforestation, and the benefits of careful growth, Guyana is well situated to be among the leaders of sustainable development.
Meanwhile, with regards to Guyana's relations with Japan, the president said that while the two countries are separated by 24,000 kilometers of sea, they remain united by relations cemented over a period of 46 years.
Guyana and Japan established diplomatic relations on June 11, 1969. The passage of the intervening years has witnessed an intensification of economic cooperation and trade between our two countries. Excellency, Guyana places a high value on the strengthening of economic cooperation with Japan. Guyana looks forward to continuing cooperation with Japan, particularly in the areas of economic, social and physical infrastructure and technology transfer.
During the course of the week, the president also met with members of the Baha'i community, the Deaf Association, senior managers of BOSAI, and the Secretary General of the Union of South American Nations, Mr. Ernesto Samper.
Okay, we were discussing about the regional agenda of UNASUR and the importance of the participation of Guyana in these matters, especially topics as the infrastructure. We are improving some projects here of importance to the region in the north. I also invite him to the South American Defense Council to explain his theories about the security in the Caribbean and its implications in the security in the whole region. And third, we talk about the the South American citizenship project that we are supporting and we are presenting to all the countries.
That brings us to the end of this week's program. Thank you for joining me. For regular updates on the Ministry of the Presidency, go to our website www.motp.gov.gy. Like our Facebook page, Ministry of the Presidency, and follow us on Twitter and Instagram at MOTP Guyana. I'm Vinita Mishra. Do have a safe and productive rest of the week. Goodbye.